Alright guys, back more good Tsushima. We'll continue on. We're starting a reckoning in blood. Or we're gonna head towards it. And then I believe we should be able to finish Act 2 next episode. This is what the plan, I mean, like essentially what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'll do this episode obviously, and then one more after this, and that'll probably be it for today. Not because I can't do more so just I don't really want to. I'm not, again, I'm fucking bored out of my fucking mind playing this. But, I would like to get through Act 3, today. Or in this session, recording session. And then tonight, I think we can finish Act 3 in one sitting. If not, then we'll finish it tomorrow at some point. Which is fine, too. So.
Where do we think she sits coming in with the other house guests, Christian?
I mean, I feel like always with Nicole, any way that I play
Man, his voice is really fucking loud right now.
At least in the jury, I just the way that she plays the middle and is able to get in and relate to most people, regardless of their background, where they come from, and just seeing her do that with all of the house guests in her season. I feel like she has what it takes to make the jury, but I don't see her going much further past that, because then by then I feel like she'd be exposed for playing both sides, if she is playing a little bit more of a bolder game at that point.
Yeah, I think and hope, but I definitely think that she's capable of going down to the jury at the very least. I feel like Nicole, even if she comes in with, like you said, maybe a little bit extra confidence, a little bit extra something that she didn't have in the last season, I feel like she is still that soft, like, lovable, like,
I'm trying to look up where we were in my last playthrough at this point.
Send home, especially in a cutthroat all-star season where there are big players, big plans going around. Is Nicole really going to be the biggest one that's, like sending out these missions and, going after the big names? Like, she'll be along with some of the big players, I'm sure.
I guess I did this earlier than I thought.
Other big players. Maybe she gets caught in the crossfire and she's like the #1 ally of Tyler and somebody wants to take a shot at Tyler and Nicole's on the block, whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like if people can avoid evicting her early on, there's going to be so many more people that they're going to want to get out.
I guess it is much later than I thought. Okay, it is episode 49 out of 58 last time.
Has a lot of old school names on it.
So yeah, next episode we should be able to finish Act 2.
If she hasn't, connected with each and every one of them, I don't know. It could go either way, but I feel like she,
based on how
the kind of personality that is built to last a little bit longer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I'm concerned about with Nicole Anthony here is actually a sort of similar thing that I'm concerned about with Nicole Franzel, which is her pregame. Now, obviously, we don't know everything about the pregame. We know very little, I'm sure, about the pregame. But my basic understanding of it is that I think that Nicole Anthony has not pre-gamed. I think that she did not reach out to anyone. Again, like, she strikes me as somebody who is a rule follower. She would not break the rules. I don't think that she told anybody that she was going to be on the season. And thus, her name wasn't confirmed by any, like, other alumni in the pregame stuff. What made it obvious that she was on the season was, like, her social media behavior. And so, what I'm concerned about here is that I feel like this was the worst possible way to do the pregame. To basically not talk to anybody, not game with anybody, but it was pretty obvious that she was going to be on based on her social media. So everybody else is talking about who's on the season, who's on the cast. They're probably reaching out to her. She's probably telling them, no, I'm not on, even though they know she's probably on. They're probably talking about her as, okay, well, she doesn't want to work with us. She's not willing to play ball. I could easily see her being an early target because of that. Plus, she's the most recent fan favorite. She's easy to just throw up on the block. It's not going to make any waves because she doesn't have any built-in allies coming in. I'm very concerned about this early game for her on All-Stars here.
Yeah, she's I wish I had a full list of people that she's had on her show. Because she's obviously talked to, a couple of people. I know she had Janelle on, I know she had Tyler on. I kept thinking about Paul. Her and Paul have definitely gotten close, but Paul's not supposedly, I'm pretty sure he's not on the season, so that's a pretty big blow for her to not have him there. I don't know that I don't know. I feel like Nicole specifically is she's had a mentor, I guess you could say, by her side for the past 10 months since she got off the show. Somebody who has been around the Big Brother universe for many years. And of course, you know, if anybody is confused, that's Eric Curto from Your Reality Recaps. The two of them have become good friends, and Eric's been around for a long time in the reality TV world. So well, yes, of course he knew that she was coming back, and that has a lot to do with the social media thing. I'm sure he gave her advice, and I can't imagine it was bad advice. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know much about what he possibly would have said, but I have to imagine he would have told her, you should talk to people, just kind of send a little message, a little hooray here, a little yay there, happy to see you, doing well, this and that. Maybe nothing too intense, like, let's work together this summer, let's devise a plan, and let's go after Janelle, like, nothing of that nature, but at least, like, a little friendly reach out to...
Oh, really? They've confirmed now. Live feeds start after the West Coast airing of the premiere.
Kind of in the bottom, in the early part of the game, at least it's she of all people.
So that's great. I mean, that means we're gonna miss, like, about 2 hours or so? 2 or 3 hours, right? Actually, no more than that. 3 hours. But still, it's gonna be cool.
I think, Matt, you make a good point that she has talked to a lot of these people before. I think,
I can't believe we're almost there. Dude, I'm really fucking excited at this point.
Talking to somebody on a podcast does not mean that they will be able to work together on a season, but it's at least something. Again, though, if she, I really think a lot of this depends on how much the pregame was a factor for Nicole. I think that will affect her at the start of the season, but the thing about Nicole is that she is so good at
and the fact that we're getting feeds night 1 of the seasons are gonna be really exciting. Because obviously, like, this doesn't happen, like on Big Brother. Usually we miss out the entire first week, pretty much up until the first veto competition. Because usually the show doesn't premiere until a week after they enter the house, which is around the time of the first veto competition. And to be honest, I will admit, I'm actually very impressed with what CBS is doing. Because I do feel like CBS has been trying to do a good job here with All Stars. Getting live premiere, feeds, casting people that we never thought that they were going to cast. But, actually trying to get the big names. And, obviously they failed at that, but at least they tried. They tried to get Dan, they tried to get Derek, they tried to get Vanessa, they tried to get Will, they tried to get all these other people. Danielle Reyes, and these people that just said no, but it's and they were still able to get some big names there. I mean, they were still able to get Janelle, they were still able to get Kaser, Ian, Tyler, I mean, whatever. It's at least they tried, which is more than I could say for them for a while. I mean, yeah. The problem here, though, is that I think this does make it so I have to officially turn my power rankings into a week 1 power rankings, instead of a preseason power rankings. Because I was hoping, in a small part of me was hoping no feeds for first few days, just so that by the time I release the video, it is like a preseason video still, but now with feeds and everything, it's I can't do preseason. It's we're gonna know exactly where the games are at pretty much by the time I do the video, so it's gonna need to be a okay. It's gonna need to be a week 1.
She worked a lot with the people on this season that were considered to be the outcasts. That's a pretty charged word when you see the demographics of people that she was working with. But it is my hope that she can at least find one strong ally within the in-crowd or whatever that looks like in the structure of this season, and keep it on the down low, and not feel the need to swing back and forth.
What was the point of the cutaway?
That was just her big misstep, was that she knew she was in the middle early in her season, and she started to swing back and forth and give away, just volunteer too much information too soon.
So I think the big question is, can she get in with Janelle? We've been talking about Janelle being a central piece, I think, in a lot of different relationships and groups. Is she the kind of person that Janelle would work with? Because thinking about it, I'm actually not sure. I don't know if Nicole Anthony gels that well with Janelle.
Yeah, I think if that relationship doesn't work out, it's because of Nicole's end rather than Janelle's. I think Janelle would be willing to work with Nicole, but I feel like the energy, the style of gameplay that Janelle tends to be, who knows what Janelle's going to be like, all these years later, she's not going to be Janelle BB 6 and 7. But she is a louder player. She is a more proactive player, somebody who has a lot of attention on her at all times. And I kind of feel like Nicole could shy away from that and not be against Janelle, but I can see her not being actively drawn to her.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2:30 a.m.
Especially as I think
Eastern
the
Time.
season is really going to be about
That's when the live feeds start.
I think, at least if I was her, the last thing that I would want to do is align myself with somebody who has a super strong voice that no matter how much I elevate
Oh, yeah, this
my
is the
voice,
mission where Taka
if
dies,
I'm
isn't
not
it?
to, it's just going to look less.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and Janelle always struck me as the kind of player that she likes to play with other big personalities, big, aggressive game players. Remember, Janelle is the person who, called the other side the nerd herd in season 6. Nicole probably identifies as being a nerd in a herd of some sort. So, I just don't know if their personalities, mesh super well, and I think that's bad news for Nicole in the early portion of the season when Janelle might be kind of a central piece. Now, if Janelle is playing so hard that she very quickly explodes and shatters everywhere, then Nicole being there to pick up the pieces could be helpful too. But yeah, I feel like, and again too, because Janelle has so many options, it seems, of people that she can work with. So even just a little bit of disconnect personality-wise, it seems like a big shot to take when it comes to having a relationship with her. And with Janelle, you might end up losing so many other people who are in that circle, and that could be dangerous.
Yeah, I think they just have nothing in common at all. If you can think of one thing that the two of those people have in common, it's just they're not from the same area, they're not the same age. Really, Nicole doesn't have kids. Janelle's been living her adult life for the past couple of years. She's been on multiple different shows. Nicole, this is only her second, so it just feels like they are completely separate. I don't know what they're going to relate to. I think if they do ever link up, it'll be through a mutual ally. I can see very easily Nicole getting into Gazer. If Gazer's there, Gazer's the friendliest guy, and I have no reason to root for her, and that, Nicole and Gazer's energy would match. So maybe, that's a match there, and then that works out. I also might Devon, I did not mention her earlier, but I feel like that's somebody that she could connect with, because Devon is way more open to playing with a lot of different people, and just that friendly energy that the both of them have, I think, match.
Well, we didn't talk about it too much when we talked about Devon, but in Devon's first season, she had Steve, who was like, I love you, please, let's work together. And she kind of was just she kind of brushed him off. Do we think that she has learned from that? Do we think that she is now looking at these, nerdier archetypes and being like, you know what, maybe I should work with them. Maybe this is a good spot for me.
I would hope so. I mean, in all of the seasons of reality television that she's been on since, I would hope that she's learned the lesson. Because just personally, I would love to see Nicole and Devon in it all. But I do sense some hesitation there from Devon, so we'll see.
I didn't realize that Angela spoiled that Tyler and Bailey are on too.
An all-women's alliance. Briefly,
It is funny that these people can't even fucking
there are a lot of women on this cast who would
keep their mouths
to
quiet.
have an all-women's alliance. I think that she could fit into that, kind of, but again, her personality is pretty different from a lot of these people. I do think she could get along with Danny Donato. I think that again, when we talked about Danny, I said that she's like the cool kid that rebels against the other cool kids and is like cool with everyone. And I feel like that's exactly the kind of person that Nicole can get along with. But I think it depends on where the other people fall.
Clearly, nobody in Big Brother 21 disliked Nicole, right? But besides that one week that people got fired up at her, so
she's able to make these connections, and people really like her. The problem that Nicole faces, and that she faced, especially in season 21, is that it was hard for her to get respect from people. That they liked her a lot, they were very fond of her, but they didn't bring her in, and they didn't make her a partner, didn't share anything with her. They just kind of thought like, oh well, we like her, we'll save her for last, or like we'll use her over here because we like her so much. That respect factor is a big thing when it comes to finding allies that will actually work with you and not just use you. And that's where I'm feeling again. I don't know how many people.
Exactly right, Andrew.
This cast, especially in such an older cast. Although she did manage to connect with Cliff as an older person, maybe that will help her. That it's an older cast because they're not older people in general aren't as cliquey, and I think they tend to respect people a little bit more. So that could actually be a benefit. But personality-wise, is where I'm finding a hard fit.
Yeah, especially as much as, again, I would love to see an all-women's alliance. I just don't see Nicole being part of it because she herself was like, I'm a guy's girl, and then from the moment she walked in the house, she was like, people like Holly, people like Christy, people like Sis, they're scary to me, they make me anxious, they're not the type of people that I would generally vibe with. And so when I'm thinking of these like big, outspoken, beautiful women that are going to be on All Stars, I just see that that's the problem she was trying to go.
yeah, she's got to have a number one, and I mean, it was Cliff for the majority of the time last game. There's no Cliff here. David might be the closest person that you could be drawn to as her number one because of the fact that, of course, they were on the same season. But that doesn't, necessarily mean that they have to be number ones. There still could be people in the house that she is more drawn to as, somebody she can confide in. So I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know that I see.
They're really
exactly
big into decapitation, aren't they?
I think that a good connection for her is going to be Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, I forgot about
Kevin Campbell actually would get along pretty well. I think that they could work really well together. And that's where I have some hopes there that could be a good connection.
I still can't believe he's here. Hypothetically, hypothetically. Yeah, no, that's a really good call, I think.
Yeah, I think Kevin Campbell's the one that I'm probably the most shocked on. That is back. Because like Janelle and Kaser, it's like Danielle Donato, I think that was pretty obvious. Like Kaser, I'm surprised by, but not like to any massive extent.
Kevin seems to be along the same lines.
Like Memphis and Keisha, I always thought there was like an outside chance of them.
Yeah, what was Kevin's click was...
Kevin is like the biggest, like what the fuck. Like Enzo, I always thought had a chance.
Yeah, it was offbeat. He was the offbeat.
Yeah.
I feel like Nicole is also an offbeat. If she's in a click, right?
I just don't remember how much of a fan she is because I'm wondering, like, my thing. This isn't the Kevin podcast. But
Oh, we do have to kill
how many
one?
people are gonna know of him and know him enough to want to work with him. I don't know how many of these people know Big Brother 11 very well. Probably a lot of them. I don't know.
Honestly, I think Kevin is a kind of a forgotten figure in a lot of these. Until he was brought up recently, people didn't usually talk about Kevin unless it was like win. That Kevin guy is pretty underrated, but other than that, he doesn't usually come up very often.
Fuck.
So it becomes a pretty blank slate overall. Although it's helped that his biggest thing is the lie plan. But I do think that's a good connection for Nicole. So one more thing. How do we feel about the Battle of the Nicoles? Do we think that there will be a Battle of the Nicoles? Or do you think could they maybe get along?
I personally can't see it happening.
not dead. What the fuck was that?
I feel like maybe there might be some action about it in the beginning, but I don't think
I think they could easily work together if they were to move on field. There's not like a barrier where I feel like, where I think it would be hard for Nicole and Janelle to find something to bond over, to connect over. I feel like the Nicole's, I mean, they have the first thing that they have in common is pretty obvious, the name. But I think that, you know, Nicole wears glasses too, right? Or she did at some point. Glasses thing, just, you know, just little things that can kind of bond you to somebody. That's why we're bonding Ian and Nicole in our heads. So why not bring Nicole into that as well, especially, you know, into working with Ian. I think we I expect there to be an actual war between the Nicoles. I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Nicole Franzel and these pre-gaming rumors. Like, if there's any truth to any of that, maybe Andy really gave the attention to her. But if you need somebody to, like, confide in and lean on, that's where Nicole Anthony comes in, and she's a good person to so let's see it.
Alright, any final thoughts on Nicole Anthony heading into All-Stars?
Happy she's here. I'm excited, and I think that she has the potential to do well. I think she was always going to be a lock to be on the season. You know, she was the fan favorite, and if she was going to be able to say yes, you know, just like everybody else in good health and ready to get into that house, then I see no reason why she wouldn't have been there, so I'm happy she's there, and I'm excited to see what she can do. I have low expectations for a lot of the players, and I think I feel the same way about her. I think she's not somebody that I'm expecting to do great things here. Like I said, I think she's here to have fun and have another good summer. Maybe just, you know, keep her good reputation going, which is another thing we talked about. But I'm just excited she's here.
What's the prediction? How far does she get?
Just like jury or not jury. Jury.
Get specific.
Jury. Oh, like specific. 7th place.
There you go.
Yeah, I would say I would put her right in that early jury spot. I am super excited to see her, but I don't know that I have like super high hopes. I think just the fact that she knows how to play from the bottom, she has experience swinging back and forth, and breaking up, or at least attempting to break up alliances. There's just a lot of potential there, and it's just a matter of whether she taps into it or not, and if the cards fall into her hand.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty concerned about her very early on. She's one of my candidates for like early targets. However, if she survives, I think that she is underrated in her capability as a player. I think that she is scrappy, and I think that she, while she does have an uphill battle to climb, to fight, I think that she's capable of it. But because of that, I think that it's, you know, every.
It's so weird that there's a Jason Guy Daniel Reyes fucking podcast now. And they're on video, and like Jason Guy just looks like the happiest person alive the entire time.
There it is. Nicole Anthony, I'm very excited to see her again. I think people know how much of
Is
a
it?
fan I am of Nicole
I guess
Anthony,
NBC just announced American Ninja Warrior is coming
hopefully
soon.
you
I
guys enjoyed
don't
this
want
one.
it.
Christian,
Like,
where can people find
please. Fuck it, we have to kill more people?
@_K-Rob, so that's K. Instagram, on Twitter.
you? Right, and Matt?
I think on Twitter @Corey, and if you want to keep up with the
How is he not dead?
that I'm doing, you can check that out as well. It's all on my Twitter page. So excited for this season. Excited to be back tweeting about the weather and talking about it. So it should be fun.
Alright, you can of course find me on Twitter
Game.
@Terran or twitch.tv/Terran_Armstrong. Thank you so much for joining us once more on this hypothetical journey. I'll see you next time. Alright, everybody, there you have it. There's our review of Anthony. How Nicole is going to do. I think I'd be a little bit bearish on her chances in the game. I just feel like that she's like an easy person to put up on the block. Just a couple of HOHs. She's not super well connected to a lot of people. I don't think she's the kind of person that's going to go mad or go get crazy and like call you out if you put her on the block. I think she's just going to
Perfect.
kind of like be kind of
Or not.
used to going up on the block and have
ends up being somebody who is resistant in the first couple of weeks without getting a lot of blood on your hands. But we'll see. Nicole Anthony is a fun one to watch. Fellow Long Island native, and looking forward to seeing her come back. So that made a great point about, like, if she got left in the majority.
Oh, fuck off.
Like, what does that even look like for her to have any sort of power in the house? It would be fun to see. All right, next up, we're going to hear all about the return of Memphis, hypothetically speaking, to the Big Brother house. That is going to be on the other side of a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by BetOnline.ag. They've got some words for you.
Oh, fuck. Where'd it go?
End of
7-time NBA bonus.
To play once again. I am, of course, your host, Aaron Armstrong, and with me to talk about Memphis is Bobby. How you doing, Bobby?
What's going on, Taryn? Happy to be here. You know, we've had this long off season, and now I'm just ready to get back to some Big Brother.
You know,
get back to the roots where we can talk about this and entertain myself and you guys too. Everything else that's going on in the world right now, we need a little entertainment. So very excited to have some Big Brother back in our lives.
Yes, and also joining us for the first time is Isaiah. Isaiah, how are you?
Hello, Taryn. How are you? I'm just very excited to be here.
this guy does not sound like an idea.
Can you introduce yourself to us? Who are you?
Sure. So, my name is Isaiah Goins. I am 22. I live in Wilmington, Delaware, and I am a huge Survivor Big Brother fan. I've been watching Big Brother since like BB13, and I was 13 at the time, so I was very confused. I actually started like midway during the episode where Brendan won challenge to get back in. So I stuck with it, but I was like, I got hooked so fast, so that was interesting.
You just missed the superpowers?
Yeah, I just missed it, so like I had to get on the train a little bit later, but I went to 14 directly after, and I just got addicted. So I went back and watched all the seasons. And, you know, I make music, I make YouTube videos, and I just, you know, and I spend countless hours listening to RHAP. So yeah.
Alright. Well, very excited to chat
Fuck,
with you.
how many are there?
Why did you decide that you wanted to talk about Memphis? Who is Memphis to you?
So Memphis as a player is very interesting. Basically, the Renegades just very top tier in my opinion out of all comparisons.
We've got your internet's cutting out a little bit. Is there a way that you like plug in or like maybe move closer to the router or something?
I was just left in.
Let me switch over my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, one second.
I know
Shit.
it happens to Melissa constantly.
You can tell when she goes in her robot voice.
What? Why'd you get the wrong person? Whatever.
It's still like very laggy.
The video's a little laggy, but I guess we'll see. We'll see how the audio works.
Sure.
Whenever it gets good, we'll get it.
Okay.
Fuck.
So
Finish that.
just running back what you were saying about Memphis.
Okay. So basically, I think Memphis Garrett as a player is very interesting because him and Dan, just by themselves, are probably one of the best duos in Big Brother history. I think Memphis kind of just did himself a disservice a little bit by just trusting Dan undeniably. I think Dan working actively to make him look bad kind of hurt him in the end game, but I think he has a lot of qualities as a player that makes him a very good player. Definitely deserves to be an all-star.
And also, famously, definitely not a womanizer, right?
No.
Definitely not a woman. I'm actually really excited to talk about Memphis and Dan, the Renegade Alliance. That was one of my alliances really came together. They really needed each other, and they were able to work it all the way to the end. But it'd be crazy to see guys back on the show after
Wait, wouldn't that make you think he's not wrong?
That there's potential to get one of these young to older seasoned players back into the game
Fuck.
and see what happens. You know, he made the top 2 before. Let's see what he can do without Dan.
So we remember Dan, or we remember Memphis for Dan in the Renegades, but that didn't even really start to happen until the second half of the season, and I feel like a lot of people might be listening to this, they might not have watched season 10, they might only know Memphis in relation to Dan, or they may forget about Memphis's game prior to the Renegades. So Isaiah, can you tell us about what was Memphis up to at the start of season 10?
Yeah, so Memphis, basically 25 years old, he's a young, built guy. Almost right out the gate, everyone looked at him as like a threat, just based off of his physicality. And he naturally gravitated towards like the Jessies and the Angies and the Michelles. But after Jesse's HOH week, he was almost instantly looked at as a threat to take out. I remember people like Jerry and Rennie and Brian almost saying that this guy needs to be dealt with immediately just because he seems so cutthroat. He really adapted to the situations a lot because his allies were taken out almost immediately, and he was always found himself in that island. You got Jerry calling him out for being a womanizer, as you said earlier. And, yeah, he engaged and fell for the bait and got in an argument. But, you know, Memphis definitely, until Dan linked up with him, he was struggling a lot early game.
Yeah, can we settle this? Is Memphis a womanizer? Why was Jerry calling him a womanizer? What's going on here?
Jerry was calling a lot of names in that house, so, you know, Judas, there's a lot of names being called.
You're going home.
Old man Jerry. But, you know, that kind of gets Jerry's charm a little bit. I was watching the first couple episodes of the last episode yesterday, and I forgot how many people had disdain for Jerry. That was very interesting to see. I totally had forgotten about that. But as far as Memphis, you're absolutely right, Isaiah. If it weren't for Brian really working to get himself out of the house the first week, Memphis would have been gone. Because he wanted Memphis on the block after the veto ceremony, and they were ready to vote him out. But because Brian played too hard, too fast, he was able to save himself and get to the end like he did. So had it not been for Brian, we might not be even talking about Memphis at this point.
Yeah, in that early game, Memphis he really is a very different guy than the guy who plays in the second half. He is a lot quicker to jump into fights. He is a lot more polarizing. He is, you know, he does get in with the Coven a bit, but is ultimately part of the big split that happens in the first half of the game. And he's always he's a player of the game. He's a strategic guy. He gets involved in things, but he was not
There we go,
really
fail
like
Tsushima.
the Dan kind of player. He was not under the radar. He was not behind the scenes until Dan kind of introduced him to that kind of gameplay, and he adapted to it pretty well here, Isaiah.
Yeah, I agree
Okay,
with
wait,
that.
so what do we
I think
want?
that he was trying to do more of like a bros thing, actually.
What is this one?
At the first hand of the game. I think that him linking with Dan definitely put him in a
Let's be
weaker
fashionable
position
here.
that he originally was in, because if it wasn't players like Dan and Keisha, I think he would have been going a lot longer. A lot earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Alright, one's here. As I said, I'll do one more episode for today. But for now, thanks for watching.